Virginia voters head to the polls in a race some believe could serve as a bellwether to the midterms. Former Democratic Governor Terry McAuliffe and Republican Glenn Youngkin right now making last-minute pitches. Joining us now, national spokesman for the RNC, Paris Dennard. Paris, good morning. You are also a Virginia resident. What are you hearing from people on the ground? How has turnout been so far?
What we're hearing from the people on the ground and people like myself who are Virginia residents, it's enthusiasm. There's no doubt that Glenn Youngkin has the momentum. If you look at the fact that his multiple rallies last night had record turnout, I mean, they were standing room only, just filled to capacity, and it intimidated Terry McAuliffe to the point that he canceled his Virginia Beach rally. There is enthusiasm. There's an excitement that's palpable because we have a candidate who is listening to us, a candidate who understands us, a candidate who is responding in a way that is responsive to what Virginia residents want, which is public safety. That's why he has the support of 50 some odd sheriffs. When it comes to education, he's listening to parents and putting parents first and saying they do have a right to be involved in their children's educations. And on something that's really important to me, HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, Glenn Youngkin made a commitment to have fully supporting funding of HBCUs in every one of his budgets if he's elected governor. That's something that the first black governor of Virginia, who's a Democrat, Governor Wilder, said was historic. And he has been very outspoken in his being very upset with the Democrat Party and Terry McAuliffe about their not supporting HBCUs in Virginia. And then the issue of the economy, lowering taxes, getting rid of the grocery tax, so that because we see the rising cost of food inflation. These are real things and real issues, which is palpable and exciting to the Virginia voters, not just Republicans, but independents and Democrats alike who look at what Terry McAuliffe and the Democrats are putting out and say, you're just out of touch. You don't get it. You're not with us. We have a problem with your policies. We're going to vote for Glenn Youngkin. That's why you see this energy.
Paris, in a recent article, you explore Glenn Youngkin's engagement with black voters. How important is it for candidates to appeal to the minority vote in this Virginia election and during the upcoming midterms?
It's so critically important that we continue the momentum that we have with expanding and growing our party. That's why the RNC is invested in our RNC community centers. But when you look at the GOP ticket, in particular in Virginia, you have Glenn Youngkin running at the top of the ticket, but you also have Winsome Sears, first-generation American, black woman who would make history as the first woman of color to be lieutenant governor. And you have Jason Myers, who's running for attorney general, Cuban-American. And so it is a diverse ticket, but you have to take your message to the people. And you have to have a message that resonates. And with the minority community, especially those in Virginia, supporting public safety, being strong on parentals' right to have access to better quality education, supporting school choice, as well as having an economy that works, creating jobs. And reducing taxes. These are things that resonate with minority communities. And Glenn Youngkin has been very aggressive in his appeal to trying to get minority voters to come out to the Republican Party and support him in this election. It's very important.
Paris, there's another important vote happening today across the country. In Minneapolis, residents are voting to decide the future of the Minneapolis Police Department. Again, a measure on the ballot asking voters whether the police department should be replaced with a Department of Public Safety. Rashad Robinson, a spokesperson for Color of Change, explained, quote, "It's a full vote for us to all reimagine public safety and to move away from the type of systems that have not produced safety for all communities." Now, in a vote taken by the Star Tribune in Minneapolis, I want to look at this with you real quick. 47% of black voters oppose the measure, while 42% support it. In the same survey, 75% of black voters, an overwhelming majority, say they do not want to shrink the size of the police force, which, of course, this bill does not necessarily say this will shrink the size of the police force. What's your thoughts on this measure, though?
You know, any measure that seeks to reimagine or defund or change what we know as modern day policing is a problem, because we know that minorities and every citizen has a reasonable expectation that their children are going to be safe. And so we have to be doing everything that we can to support the men and women in blue. We have to do everything we can to give them the full resources so they can do their jobs. Do we need certain reforms? Absolutely. But should those, and I might add, Democrats in Congress have failed to enact any type of policing reform after the death of George Floyd. And so if the Democrats are looking for police reform, they're not getting it from the Democrats. But when it comes to this particular issue in Minnesota, you've got to have sound policy that reflects where the people are. The people of Minnesota, Minneapolis specifically, do not want a reduced size police force. Poll after poll shows, not just there, but nationally, that especially the Black community wants to have a police presence. We cannot have defund the police or this reimagining of the police, because at the end of the day, it leaves communities of all stripes, all colors, unsafe, sitting ducks to rising crime, violence, and murder. It's a problem.
Very quickly, I want to also mention, too, that in the same poll, the majority of Minneapolis residents actually support changing the police department and doing the Department of Public Safety. What do you say to those people who say this is the way we are going to reform police? This is our reforming police measure.
I would tell them that the devil's in the details. Look at the details of what it's actually going to do. If there's anything in there that makes you think that you're going to be unsafe, that changes the way policing works, it's going to be a problem. And thus far, you cannot trust anything that Democrats have put out on the issue of police reform. They have not led, they have not delivered, and it's a problem. We need to support the men and women in blue. We've got to have strong public safety in all communities, especially there in Minneapolis.
Paris Dennard, great talking to you this morning. We appreciate you joining us here on the National Desk. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me.